August 15th, 2016. Guys, we have been watching this weather front for a few days now. It's starting to pull out of Louisiana and Mississippi. We're still getting scattered showers, but you're looking at I-10, guys. It's a major interstate that runs from the east to the west coast of this country. This is a stretch of Highway 10 near Greensburg, Louisiana. Look at the 18-wheeler that plowed into that. It looks like an earthquake. That's the power of that floodwater. And it's moving north. Check out the headlines. Missouri flooding prompts evacuations and knocks out power to 1000's St. Louis. It's a complete stream going all the way up into the northeast, right across Indiana, that entire area. But 1000's lost power in the St. Louis area, and more than 30 homes had to be evacuated south of the city due to flooding that swamped roads and even left a woman trapped as she went into labor. Floods were triggered by heavy downpour Sunday night and Monday morning that followed a weekend of intense rainfall in St. Louis and southeastern and south central Missouri. Roads in St. Louis County were flooded and more than 13,000 customers without power. Let's take a look at this. We watched it come offshore of Pensacola, almost go into the Panhandle section, and come into Alabama and Florida and skirt all the way into Louisiana and Texas. Now that has combined, and that's where we're getting this. You're talking about 6 inches just in the St. Louis area. If it continues to train out like it is now, that rainfall will pile up. Right in that swirl, you're looking at Lafayette, Indiana. Right in that top right corner, guys. That's when in the last few frames, and you're going to get a lot of this rain. Now, we don't see, except in that area in the early morning hours, the rain bombs like you see down in Texas that we were getting for days and days down in Louisiana and Mississippi. But the rain is going to continue through there. Then it's going to be a gradual clearing behind the front as it moves east. Now, we got another player in the game. This is a top of the world view satellite image. In the top right section is Africa. You can see that there's a storm coming off of the coast of Africa here. Now, it's the way this is lined up. This storm is predicted to come and aim towards the east coast of the United States. The tracking models haven't jumped on it that heavily yet. I will show you one of the predictions from the National Hurricane Center. They're watching it. They're giving it about a 50% chance of development. You can see as this goes over 98 hours, guys, how that storm in the Gulf came down, moved across the Gulf states, and is now pulling up into the northeast across the Midwest. Just a little closer view of that image in the infrared from a different satellite camera. But, guys, that's just going to continue to pile up, and there's plenty of moisture in the Gulf. If you notice, there's still some streamers that are pulling that, and the heat is very hot. The storm coming out of Africa is in warm water, but it's not as warm as it is in the Gulf. Now, this is a satellite trained at this 1 kilometer distance above Indiana. You can see Lake Michigan in the northern center of this image, right at the top center. And this is the cloud cover buildup. So it is impressive. If you change some of the imaging, you can see where some of the higher tops are. But there's a lot of rain there. Maybe it won't set on top of you guys forever. 6 inches is a lot of rain, though, no matter where you're at. Backing it out, you can see the expected travel of this thing, again, all the way up into the northeast. So expect the rains. It's coming. I hope you don't get them as much as we do now, or we did. But notice at the bottom left, you still have Arkansas and the tip of Mississippi there. And we're still getting off and on rain showers. Now, here in central Mississippi, it's been mostly sunny today, and it's a good thing. We need to dry out some. And Louisiana, guys, you just have to read some of the updates. Upwards of 20,000 people have been rescued, some by boats, some by helicopters. Power's out. Hundreds of thousands of homes are gone. They're going to need a lot of help. As they open up the roads, which they have closed now, we will be able to find out more information about it. But this has got a 1 in 40% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours. Now, this is 2 p.m. Eastern, Monday, August 15th, today. Said it's cloudiness and thunderstorms are disorganized at this point over the far eastern Atlantic and associated with a tropical wave located a few hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Again, this water is warm out here already. It's that time of year. And it's the time of the year up into September when we see some of these stronger storms. Some of the classics have come in September, Camille, things like that. But here's your 5-day forecast. You can see it's projected to continue to move west-northwest across the Atlantic. And it goes from a 40% to a 50% chance by that time. Well, again, it's early. We'll have to watch for wind shear and dry patches, and this will keep an update on it daily until we know for sure where it's going on. We have not had one of these since Fukushima shook this planet. Not one that came into the Gulf of Mexico like the last one we saw was Hurricane Katrina. We've seen a few tropical storms, very little, but it's way past time for another major storm. They just now come across the Atlantic and recurve up the East Coast. The next year after the Fukushima quake, you had Hurricane Sandy. Everything else is either went straight, it was very far south and went straight across the Mexican peninsula, or it curved up, went up the Atlantic coast, or struck inland there and recurved back towards England, back across the North Atlantic. This is what it looks like. They're saying it's somewhat disorganized. That's because they will be going through the nighttime period starting now, and it's going to cool off. But each day as it gets closer, it's getting into warmer water, and it will have time to develop. And I've seen this many times in the past. If you guys think about the history of hurricanes, you'll have one that comes in maybe a category 1 or 2, and then a week later almost the big one comes in. We haven't seen it. We saw back-to-back with Ivan. I was there with Katrina. We were here. It's devastating. But again, this will be, if it comes into the Gulf and curves up, it will be the first powerful Atlantic hurricane to do that in all of this time. We'll see, but with that angle, it almost looks like an East Coast projection and possibly a recurve. It's a heads up. Be safe.